We are back. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with the always lovely and talented Andrea Kay, the always incredible Urban Miaris, and we have our next guest, actually a little bit of an extension of a prior guest, although unrelated in that case, which is way too confusing. But
yeah, I'm
welcome, John Leck from Green Dragon Tavern and Museum. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. So the relation is we had your wonderful wife on probably 6 months ago.
No, not that long ago, because
well,
about 3 months ago. It was right before she had the baby.
You have a new baby. So how old's your baby?
2 months old.
2 months. Okay, and she was so it's probably 3 months.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's right. We had her here before we, it's not from the old show.
Well,
right.
Congratulations anyway.
Yes, congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you. It's been a privilege to have a daughter now with our 2 sons to complement. So the dynamics have been fantastic to see, and so very lucky.
Well, we're going into summertime. I'm going to lead off on one thing. Back to your wife, Lauren. Let her know that if she wants to bring any of her success stories on from the school, Our Lady of Peace, have her call me.
Will do, and there's a lot of those examples at Academy of Our Lady of Peace, so I'm sure she'll be happy to take you up on that.
Yep. So tell us about Green Dragon.
So Green Dragon Tavern and Museum is a privately owned, family-owned, 22,000 square foot venture up in Carlsbad. We're located right off of the 5 freeway at Palomar Airport Road. Basically, we're right off of Paseo del Norte, 6115 Paseo del Norte. We're on the opposite side from the Carlsbad outlets and the flower fields, and right across from Tip Top Meats, which is an institution up there in Carlsbad. Mm-hmm. And what Green Dragon Tavern is, a lot of people do ask us, is it Chinese food? And I always say that's our backup plan. We have dim sum carts in the back. The culinary team can definitely do well with that concept as well. But we built a stunning replica of a building that used to exist in Boston. It was demolished in 1854, called the Green Dragon Tavern. And it's where our founding fathers planned the Boston Tea Party. It's where Paul Revere left on his famous journey to Lexington and Concord, warning that the British were coming. And it was coined by Daniel Webster, one of the greatest orators of our time, as the headquarters of the Revolution. A lot of the founding fathers that we've come to know about, John Hancock, Dr. Joseph Warren, Sam Adams, a lot of the greats basically met there. And taverns during the 18th century, as well as coffee houses, were the epicenter of community. It's where information was disseminated. And so folks gathered there to basically talk about the issues of the time and get together and brainstorm. And a lot of fun events happened there. So what we did was, when we looked at our owner's private collection that he collected over 25 years of documents of various importance, of autographs by signers of the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, so forth and so on, we wanted to put them on display. A lot of these resources are so readily available on the East Coast, but the further west you go from the Mississippi, you don't have that opportunity to access tangible items such as these documents and other antiquities that we're in the process of adding to the museum. And we wanted to provide a resource to our community, as well as for travelers who come, from abroad, who may not get a chance to visit the East Coast, but come out here for Legoland or, SeaWorld or the zoo and visit our beautiful, county of San Diego, to give them that East Coast experience. So with the replica that we built an enhanced replica of the building, the facade on the exterior models after the original Green Dragon Tavern. And it's often said that you don't go to museums for the food, you don't go to restaurants for the art. We like to contradict that. Our food is highly acclaimed, and we have quite the local following. A lot of first timers. I think it's kind of one of those hidden gems that people experience for the first time, and they learn of it through referrals of friends who have been there and said, "You've got to try this place," because it in its grandiose structure that sticks out because of the East Coast architecture and the Southern California landscape. A lot of folks who drive by aren't quite sure what it is. And so when
did you build this?
We built this, we completed construction and opened in February of last year. So we're just over a year old.
Yeah, I knew it was new. I used to do a lot of public seminars up there at one of the restaurants by the Outlet Mall, and I didn't recall you being up there, so I think this is great. And what it reminds me of, I'll need to guide you back to my hometown, let you go through the city tavern sometime.
That would be great.
This is the oldest restaurant in the United States. It's built in 1773 and had all the dignitaries, Ben Franklin, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson.
So we had networking groups going back to 1770.
Yes. So when people tell me, that I grew up with the dinosaurs, well, I'm a little bit newer than that, okay?
Well, I got to do a little history. We're going to have to do a little history search here because I thought Buster's in the French Quarter was the oldest restaurant in the United States where they served up the best red beans and rice in the city. But anyway, back to Green Dragon. What kind of food y'all serving there?
So we serve New England-inspired American comfort cuisine. So what is that? That is basically a good variety of options. From our appetizers, we have some of the most amazing beer brine buffalo wings you can find in San Diego. Our New England clam chowder has gotten rave reviews by food writers from the Union Tribune as a god. When we bring those out to charitable events and from our guests alike, they just say that this is, it's unlike your traditional clam chowder. There's such a large amount of clams in it. It's wonderful.
That's amazing because I know having gone back to Boston many times, the clam chowder back there is incredible. And I always wondered why we couldn't get something like that out here.
It really comes down to the recipe, and I think a lot of the love that's put in by the chef. And our chef, Greg Kroll, and our sous chefs, are just very talented individuals, and they come from, just a great depth of experience behind them. Greg himself comes from the Hotel Providence in Rhode Island, and has just done a wonderful job bringing some of his experiences out here.
That's great, and just this kind of project, taking on something of that magnitude, 22,000 square feet, that is a huge undertaking.
It was, and it still is, and it's a passion project. Our business model is comprised of two components. It's comprised of our for-profit side, which is our banquet and event space. We have 3 ballrooms that combine into one large one, about 3,500 square feet of private event space. That variety of organizations, companies, private parties, and weddings come in to reserve. We have our restaurant, which seats about 100. It's Pilgrim inspired. Dining room. It's open for dinners on Wednesday through Sunday. Beautiful hand-etched glass by local Carlsbad glass artists depicting scenes of the Pilgrims, the Mayflower at sea, the first Thanksgiving, and the signing of the Mayflower Compact. And then we have the tavern, and the tavern is definitely the epicenter of the dining and for-profit side. And it's 2 stories, 7 large screen LED HD TVs, 20 craft beers on tap, 2-story stone fireplace, and just modeled with decor, giving scenes of life during the Revolution. And what we like to say is, the experience that our guests have is kind of a history through osmosis. Grab your beer, grab a great meal we're family friendly. Come on in, whether you want a delicious, just savory Angus beef burger with chunks of pastrami on top of house cured bacon, or whether you grab our New England clam chowder, or you go for our Ciopino coming from San Francisco. We're very proud of our Ciopino up there, and I have to say that this is one of the best I've had in California. Or if you want to go ahead and go for one of our 3 different lobster rolls, whether you go your traditional New England Maine lobster, your Connecticut with heated and draped in butter, or if you want to go with our version of the California lobster roll with our house-cured maple bacon, avocado, and mango. It's all delicious.
I want to thank you for turning my co-host into a puddle of mush over here.
Oh, my gosh.
Make reservations.
I'm dying over here. Yeah, and I got to take my husband. He's from Manchester, New Hampshire, right outside of Boston, and he's always complaining to me, can't get a lobster roll here in San Diego.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of great feedback from our guests. There's a surprising amount of New Englanders and East Coast residents here in San Diego.
Yeah.
And they walk in, they say this place feels like home. And for those who aren't from the East Coast, it's a great opportunity to come in and try something new. One of our 5-star Yelp reviews that we got recently said, it's so great. And this individual, wrote that he had lived in Europe for 12 years and has lived in San Diego for much of his life. And he said it's so great to find a restaurant where there's an actual chef in there and they're making the food and really putting a lot of the love and artistry into it. And we take a lot of pride in that because this is, like I said, going back to what you said, Barry, about being such a large venture for us, it's our first venture into the hospitality arena. And it's really 2 individuals who are just really passionate about history and wanting to bring something new and innovative. Although we're taking concepts from history, we wanted to bring something that adds a value to the community, bring our community together for some dining that separates itself from kind of chasing the trends or kind of, having everything come in a bag. So we're really excited about that.
Well, you had me at the burger topped with, was it pastrami?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of my go-tos. It's pretty solid. It comes with our garlic Parmesan fries. And,
you can hear the change in the tone of her voice.
I hear his stomach growling right
Mine is
next
too.
to me.
I think we need to wrap this up.
Exactly.
You're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business here on KCBQ, streaming live at AM1170theanswer.com. Give us a tweet at Close Up SD. Email me at barry@closeupsandiego.com or find our page on Facebook. We want to hear from you. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with Andrea Kay, Urban Miaris, and John Bleck from the Green Dragon Tavern and Museum. I'm curious about one thing. The name. How did we come up with the name Green Dragon versus having everything from Boston? Where's the correlation there?
So dragons actually are a mythical creature of significance that weren't just relevant to Asian culture, but if you go and travel back to England, a lot of the pubs back there have dragon in it. And so the history of the original Green Dragon Tavern, which is where we took our name, that was demolished in 1854, had a very unique history. It was actually originally owned by William Stoughton, who was the chief magistrate that oversaw the Salem witch trials. And so he actually, going back to hot witches, from earlier, he allowed the evidence that basically created the debacle that was the Ridge trial. And so that descended to his family, and then it was sold. And basically, it, after a couple of owners, it was bought by the St. Andrew's Masonic law and became the lodge there. And it was a very, just amazing kind of had a lot of significance just in terms of the ownership of that building as well as the events there. And so what we do is we've tied in documents that we have with signatures of magistrates going back to the Salem witch trials. That was the only one believed to publicly apologize on behalf of the decisions that were made at the time through lottery tickets that were signed by John Hancock. We had History Channel came out and filmed a show, 10 Things You Don't Know, and they did on early American lotteries. And so it was great to have one of our friends and partners, Dana Lynette, out there, who is a broker amongst many other wonderful trades in her early American documents. And so, it's really gave us the ability to kind of connect ourselves with that history. And another fun partner we're working with, also local Carlsbad resident Sean Rich, who has been on many episodes of Pawn Stars. He has a TV show called Lords of War on National Geographic and is in the works of doing several amazing projects right now, is partnering with us to loan us weaponry and other three-dimensional antiquity dating back to the Pilgrims and Revolutionary War to help supplement and add a little bit more dimension to our collection. So we're really working on some fun and exciting things right now.
Yeah, with 4th of July just a few weeks away, I bet you're going to have something special there.
We do. Last year we were open for our first 4th of July, and every year we want to make the event bigger and better. And what we're starting to do, and what we did last year, and we're going to enhance as well this year, is we do free activities for kids and families who want to come in and really learn more about their history. So last year we had a George Washington impersonator who was wonderful, roaming around. We had a 3-string quartet, and we had a variety of different games. We had treasure hunts, for those who could go around and answer trivia questions in our museum. They would win a variety of prizes.
Oh, I love
and
that.
We had great barbecue and other specials in our tavern just to really celebrate. We look at the 4th of July and Thanksgiving as our holidays, considering our focal points are the Pilgrim through Revolutionary War.
Yeah. Well, I have to share something with you. One of our big focuses on a weekly basis is we bring in, as we did today with Albie, we bring in a lot of veteran operations, veteran transition or military transition to civilian, et cetera. A lot of that, and with the history going on there, I think we should start bringing a lot of this veteran influence up to Green Dragon. I think that would be a great thing to do.
Well, and it's great, aside from just the great programming that you have here on your show, you do an amazing job at continuing to keep the connections alive between your guests and growing that. And as we all know, relationships are of such huge significance, today especially. And Albie and I definitely had a chance to talk in the beginning, and he's a unique, remarkable guy. Yeah. I came to find out that his last name is of Dutch heritage, as is mine, and so we started talking about all the we do a lot, even though we're a 501c3 as well as a for-profit. we give back immensely to our community, and we've partnered with the Wounded Warriors Foundation, the Navy SEAL Family Foundation, amongst numerous others that we provide time, trade, and dollars to help support our community.
What a great place to do a fundraiser at.
Absolutely, absolutely. So,
good idea, Urban.
So on top of us bringing different types of fundraisers to Green Dragon, I want you to stay in touch with us when you have different fundraisers from others. We'd love to help you promote it to help support your 501c3.
That would be wonderful. We'd appreciate that.
So anyway, tell our listeners, we're running short on time. Tell our listeners, where is Green Dragon Tavern and Museum, and how can they find out more information?
You can visit our website at Green Dragon Tavern, CA, as in California.com. So that's greendragontavernca.com. And we are located right off the 5 freeway. You can't miss us driving north or south on the 5, right at Palomar Airport Road. Make it a trip, make it an adventure, whether you're bringing the family to Legoland or going to the flower fields during flower field season. We have a lot of great culture growing in Carlsbad right now. The Museum of Making Music is a wonderful day trip that you can go to. The GIA, if you're doing your Costco run, come by us, because God knows it's better to be full when you go into Costco than free. So save yourself some money and get a little history, and
or go shop at the outlets and then go have a nice meal afterwards.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So.
Great.
Fantastic.
Hey, well, thanks for being with us. I think you are a wealth of information, and I appreciate you being here.
Pleasure was all mine. Thank you so much.
Great. This is Close Up on San Diego Business here on KCBQ, streaming live at AM 1170, theanswer.com. Send us a tweet at CloseUpSD, or just find our page on Facebook. You can always email me at barry@closeupsandiego.com. Let me know what you think. I'm your host, Barry Waxler. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.